Hello there folks, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be looking at another one of the big announcements that came out of Warhammer and its preview for the last weekend following the World Championships. In this case we are looking at the brand new releases that are coming out for the Maggotkin of Nurgle, sticking with that fantasy theme that I oh so love. And yes, a whole new wave of miniatures coming out for this one, which we will have a look at here. So they had a fairly meaty trailer, as you can see here, which sort of walked through everything. Once again, I think the folks at Games Workshop are sort of knocking it out of the park when it comes to their miniatures. Some really fantastic designs that are starting to give the various factions of the Mortal Realms their own identity and feel that separates them from what you have with Warhammer Fantasy Battles or Warhammer the Old World. Yes, there are some recognisable and sort of interesting carry-throughs from previous versions of the game and obviously previous editions, but I think that now everything is really getting its own stamp of authority, which sets it apart from what you'd expect when it comes to Warhammer. So yes, very nice stuff on that front. Leading the way, we have a familiar face. So yes, Festus the Leechlord, who a lot of people will know was one of the major players in the end times for Warhammer Fantasy Battles, is now back and has made his way into the realm of the Mortal Realms to fight once more for Nurgle. So yes, in life Festus was a healer who wished to have the knowledge needed to cure all illness, but in his study of disease he became unknowingly trapped within Nurgle's clutches. His voracious appetite for knowledge saw the grandfather himself become his tutor, and over 7,777 years of learning he became a master of maladies and cankerous arts, earning the rare right to ascend to demonhood. He used his learnings to grow the great beast Gathabite, which carries Festus and his fetid workshop into battle. A powerful sorcerer with limitless knowledge of poxes and poisons, he leads the Maggotkin into battle with nauseating exuberance, often campaigning in Gairan, where he poisons waterways with the Leechwater Plague, one of his prized pestilent creations. So an absolutely gorgeous new miniature for him that is just the right side of over the top, I would think, when it comes to Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Absolutely fascinating to see that he's actually made the journey across. The actual miniature itself looks really cool. Really like the design of it, and it's sort of like picking up that sort of dying human there, as it's wasting away. The maggots crawling out through its body, which I think is super cool. He actually comes with two different faces, so you can have him smiling or serious, depending on which way you want to go. I think the smiling one all the way. Those people who are really interested in painting trinkets and gubbins and all that kind of thing are going to have some really nice options there on that front too, with all the little bottles and potions. You even have some more of those talismans hanging off there as well, a sort of callback to his previous shamanic life perhaps. And then of course you have the effigies and things there too. So a really nice little touchstone, especially for those people who looked at Warhammer Quest Darkwater and saw some of those things carrying through on that front as well. We even have lots of little Nurglings running around there too. You've even got one popping out the back of his little mount, which I think is quite nice. So yeah, absolutely fantastic miniature on that front. You then have the Sloven Knights, which are your brilliant new additions to the cavalry element of Warhammer Age of Sigmar and the Maggotkin. Definitely going down the route of previous characters, I suppose you'd say, for the Maggotkin, in developing those kind of like big heavy horses that are obviously laden down with plague and all sorts of different things, carrying those absolutely massive chunking knights on the back of them with their hefty weapons as well, which I think is really cool. You could imagine them sort of like slowly ambling onto battlefields before sort of like breaking into a charge in an almost horrifying way, which I think is quite cool. Very, very nice options there, and you can do them, as you can see here, with helmets on or helmets off. I think I prefer the helmets on, but those heads are going to be a joy for people who like painting all the little details, as you might have imagined, which I think is quite nice. You then have the Putrid Blightkings, the Blightkings, sorry, and these are a sort of enhancement, a tweak on what you've already had for the Blightkings in the past. Again, big, huge slabs of meat for their bodies, absolutely bubbling with plague, armed with rusted weaponry, lots of horns which kind of hark back, as we were saying with Darkwater in the previous video, to the idea of these being almost a corruption of the valiant knights that once looked after the land, and they're all carrying some massive weapons, really cool helmet designs, lots of cool poses as well. So they're going to be a lot of fun for people who like working on things like tattoos and all that kind of thing as well. Will be really fun. I think you could do some really nice thing with them, these being almost diseased sort of drown victims perhaps. So you could have them with sort of like more bluey, purpley skin. I think it'd be quite nice, especially against the armor designs. But very nice all the same. Lots of rich reds in there too, which kind of mirrors the aching sores that we get on these characters, which is cool. You then have the rot swords. Though Nurgle is often associated with slothfulness and indolence, his followers represent all aspects of disease, including the mania induced by fever. Rot swords are warriors trapped in a constant state of spasming and twitching, their reeking bodies hot to the touch and covered in the sweat of the terminal augur. With rusted swords, they slice open flesh, attempting to proliferate their suffering in others. So yes, super cool, more designs for them. Love that kind of additional bell design all over his belt there, so you could always hear him coming. Really nice kind of styled design there. Again, very folk horror in its aspect, which I think is quite a nice addition to the Nurgle collection there. I like the folk horror vibe. It works really nicely. Sort of, again, matches the kind of fey element to Nurgle as a whole. But a glorious little section of warriors there that are going to be fun for those people who want to run elite elements of your armies. And then you have even more of the Pestigors. So you will have seen some Pestigors already, as included as part of Warhammer Quest Darkwater, but these are the versions of the Pestigors where they've very, very much gone off the end of the diving board into the disease pool. Lots of really cool poses and designs there as well. They're going to be really interesting and fun to paint, again with contrasts or speed paints or something like that, making them sort of work very nicely. Lots of weird, eerie bits and pieces. They're going to be fun for people who like their details. Going to be nice to see all those dribbling with weathering effects and all sorts of different things when you get the chance. But yes, lovely miniatures in a different sense of the word. And that's all going to be included as part of a new Battletome that's going to be coming out. Obviously, we'll do a look through this book as part of my What I Love series. So if you're interested in having a look at the Maggotkin of Nurgle, watch out for that in the near future. So the Battletome also includes updated army rules for the followers of Nurgle, rules for a new spearhead, 2 regiments of renown, and 2 armies of renown. So standard. 1 army of renown eschews the spreading of disease and lets rotbringers embrace a 7-step cycle of corruption, while the other has Horticulus Slimux lead an extremely green-fingered delegation known as the Guardians of Nurgle. There's also a Path to Glory section, as you might have imagined. Just as the followers of Grandfather carry them old tonsures and fetishes, so too can you equip yourself with accessories, blah blah blah, so lots of other things there. You will also, yes, this is what people wanted, the book will also contain rules for using Nurgle's followers from Warhammer Quest Darkwater, a new entry in the beloved board game series, blah blah blah. Gelgus Pust, his court of supporting characters, the Cankerborn and Poxwretches, will all join the Carnival of Corruption with their own war scrolls and standalone boxes that will be released later in the year, which is very nice. And this is the new Spearhead, which is called the Bubonic Cell. So it comes with the Beast of Nurgle, 2 units of 3 Nurglings, and 10 of the Rotmire Creed. So they are a previous War Cry warband that have been cycled back into Warhammer Age of Sigmar proper. Obviously means the Rotmire Creed are going to find their way into the Battletome as well, but if you're looking for something a little bit nasty and disgusting, you've got that to play with too. And then there is the Regiment of Renown itself, the pustules, which will match up with the one that you get from the box. They're also going to be doing a new Path to Glory book, which is really fun to see. So this one heads into the Blighted Wilds of Thyra, so you'll be able to follow a new storyline there, taking on the role of the Forces of Order or the Forces of Chaos, or anyone in between, looking to either despoil or save the land from the forces that lie there, which is really cool. So yes, lots more on the narrative side of thing, as well as just the fun models and the books that you'll need. So yes, once again, Festus the Leechlord, coming in, looking very cool indeed on the back of that lovely, lovely mount. The Putrid Blightkings themselves, with all their glorious warm colours and different armour stars and things, which is a very nice little addition. The Sloven Knights, which are very sort of Don Quixote in a way, which I think is quite nice. Really cool designs on those. Definitely stick the helmets on. Keep them looking super cool. Again, lots of those kind of weird folkloric elements in there, talismans and that kind of stuff, which will be fun for those people who want to tell interesting stories. The Rot Swords themselves, so your kind of new elite foot warriors for you to use on the tabletop. Looking very nice. Be fun to see what people would do with them as well. The Pestigors, so your traditional beastmen, giving a new lease of life in Warhammer Age of Sigmar with some really cool weapons and designs there too. A little bit different compared to what we had in the Warhammer Quest Darkwater box, but awesome all the same. And then, of course, the new Battletome as well, with the new artwork on the front. So if you're interested in learning about the lore, sort of how they work in the game, make sure to go and check that out as well. But yeah, some fun things revealed for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. And yeah, the Maggotkin of Nurgle, who are finding themselves with a boku amount of new releases for use in the Mortal Realms. That's one of the 4 big ones that were revealed as part of that sort of interesting collection of sneaky previews for the Mortal Realms going forward. But yeah, a welcome addition, I'm sure, for a lot of people, and one that I think is going to be fun for painters and those people who like exploring what Chaos has to offer. Make sure to do all the cool stuff in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, do everything that you would do to make the videos go woo woo. Yay, come and watch me. I'll be back with more videos in the very near future, but for now, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll talk to folks very, very soon. Bye for now.